Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and I'm back with another episode of my Out of the Park 22 playthrough with the San Francisco Giants. So it's spring training of the 26th season, and my sixth season with this team. Time to start another one and hope that this is the year we turn it around. I've had a pretty good offseason, a productive offseason anyway, I feel. I think I got some key pieces here. I think we've got some good development. If you watched any of the last season's episodes, we really had a good second half, and we're pretty solid all the way through the year, except for 1 month. We just had a terrible May and put us in the hole that we couldn't come out of. But we finished 8 games below 500 last year. I think it's just a matter of just young guys getting some more development and turning into some productive all-star type players, that the ratings are kind of showing that they're capable of, and just, getting some key free agents and pickups that are going to get us through it. And that's what I'm hoping for. So this episode, I'm going to go over the off season, how it went, and then I'm going to look at spring training, the players I'm giving time to, and run through spring training. Hopefully we won't have any injuries. I think the keys are going to be based on what we picked up. I mean, there's a few keys here. Injuries are definitely one of them. Can this team stay healthy? For the most part, knock on wood, I haven't had too many bad injury problems with this team, but I would hate for those new pickups to come in and get injured. That happens a lot. And also, how competitive is the division going to be? Have the Dodgers and Padres, for instance, have they finally started sliding a little bit? I think the Dodgers are coming off like a year when they were barely 500. Rockies, though, they can be competitive. But, it's not the same division in 26 as it was in 2021. So I'm hoping that's going to be a positive. And just, the pickups that I made, top to bottom, I think they were good, valuable players. But one thing I've talked about it over and over again, some of my viewers have pointed out, in this game, Out of the Park 22, the way this ballpark factor is coded in here, it's like it's really tough to get some offense going. I mean, this isn't the real life 2021 San Francisco Giants, who are just, leading in home runs, I think, as I'm recording this, and have been having a great offensive year. I haven't had that kind of luck. So I'm hoping that this is the year that everything turns around. And I want to start. One of the things I like to do, if you've seen my playthroughs, you'll know, I like this offseason center as just a quick, high-level look at how everything went. And I definitely like it this year because if you look at the offseason summary by team, you can see, if you go by the team sorted by wins above replacement gained, we are way in front here. 12.4, double it up almost over, we are doubled up exactly over the Rockies, which gives me a little bit of a pause because they had a pretty decent year last year. So they're definitely going to be competitive again, I would expect. But you have to go, after you get these two teams, I mean, you have to go way down here before you get any National League West teams showing up. Arizona, -5. Dodgers, -6. San Diego, did I miss them? They're -2.9. So like I say, I mean, if these teams are going down and maybe we're going up, that's hopefully a positive sign. If I look at the players that we picked up, it's really just 4 guys. 1 trade, 3 signings. And if you got to see the last episode, the first 2 here in Ursula and Tucker, I made offers for them before that episode was over. Start a free agency. They both signed. I like the offensive ratings these guys have. They're pretty good all-around players defensively as well. Again, it's just going to matter. With Ursula, his age might start to be a factor here at 34. He is leading the people I picked up, the players I picked up in wins above replacement. But I'm still hoping that he'll be a good a good player for us. Kyle Tucker. Debated him a little bit because, one of the big things, again, with that ballpark factor and out of the park 22, I'm seeing, unlike the real life San Francisco Giants, left-handed power hitters have not had much success in this playthrough with me. But I went with Tucker because, his speed's there. His defense is there for the most part. He can hit against righties and lefties. So I'm just really hoping that he's the guy that's going to break through. He's coming off a really solid year with Houston and a solid career at 29 so far in the league. And then kind of a surprise, but I picked up Adames in trade. He's a solid defensive player. He's got some decent offensive numbers. I know it may not show it if you look at the ratings there, but he's coming off an 18 home run year in Tampa Bay, 4 wins above replacement, decent average, one of his best since he's been in the league. Again, a really solid defensive shortstop. One of the questions I had, I may have talked about it last episode, Arteaga is a young shortstop we have who's 22, 23. He's got the potential, but I don't think he's ready to start full time. And so Adames comes to us just with a 1 year left on his contract. I'm hoping that he will be maybe a stopgap, or he'll get us through if Arteaga can develop. I'll try to give him as much time, Arteaga, in either a platoon situation or certainly in spring to see if he develops. And then last, I picked up Corbin Martin. I know one of my viewers, Flaherty, was out there as well. I forget what he went for, but it was a high dollar contract. He was wanting $28 million when I approached him. But I think we've got a couple good young pitchers who are going to develop. I mean, we have the returning Cy Young Award winner in Abrams. I don't know that we needed that number one starter this year, and in all honesty, I'm gun shy. I threw out some high dollar contracts for Trevor Bauer, Noah Syndergaard when I started this playthrough. I think I threw some money at Sonny Gray. Didn't have a whole lot of luck, and so now I'm just really looking at the ratings, the performances, and just the overall type value I can get. And I'm thinking Corbin Martin is a guy who can be really valuable in the middle of the rotation for us this year, and plus he's a captain. I mean, the team chemistry, it should be a lot better than it is, and it's probably because we have just one player who's I'm looking at in the spring who's probably not going to be around. We got a couple captains, some leaders. I think I'm really liking what I'm seeing with the mix of players on this team when it comes to personalities. So that's hopefully another positive as well. But let's break it down. I'm going with 39 players in the spring. That's kind of more than I usually look at. I know you can go up to 60. Once you get past mid-30s for me in this game, I don't think you have a whole lot of value in seeing some guys for just a few at-bats. So look at the pitching staff. I still feel good about the pitching staff. And I know we got Abram leading it off. This guy just 5 well above average pitches, maxed out movement, decent stamina. He's had 2 good years here. This year I'm hoping we give him some wins. I was surprised that he won the Cy Young Award last year, but I do feel that he's a very solid starter. He's just 25. And then Westbrook's 3 stars already, 3 wins above replacement pitcher in his first year with us. Again, I'm hoping he's another one that's going to develop. And then Barrios, Martin, solid veterans. I think the big question is going to be is with Schmidt, Santos, who's going to get that final nod? I mean, Schmidt, based on ratings and potential, should be the guy who's going to be starting. I at one time I thought he would be a mid-rotation starter. But Santos, for whatever reason, and I think a lot of the reason is probably the ballpark, he really looks good as a starter. You can't argue with last year, 10 wins, a 3.34 ERA. His numbers are really good, especially if you're talking about a fifth starter on the team. So it's going to be close, I think, between those two. I definitely don't want to lose Santos from the staff, so he would probably go to the bullpen. But looking at the bullpen, I think we're solid with Elledge, Fairbanks. His control's not the greatest, and I don't know what it was about. And maybe it was a few teams out there who needed a closer, but I got a lot of offers for him in the offseason. His year with us last year, not the greatest. I think we picked him up off waivers, but I do think he's got a little bit more potential than he's shown. Gonsolin, very versatile. Frisbee, coming off a weak year after he had a solid 2024. I'm hoping he gets back to where he was. And then I am going with Lang as the closer. He's serviceable. He had 36 saves for us last year. He's not a dominant type closer, but I don't know that you need that on this team. And then Swanee is a guy who I wouldn't say he's looked that great in the minors, but I think he has the potential to be a really good middle reliever on this team. So I'm hoping he has a good spring. I'm going to have probably a lot of tough choices when the spring's over in terms of who I'm going to go with in the bullpen. But I really hope one thing that doesn't happen is I get a lot of injuries. And then on the lineup side, I don't know if I have too many weaknesses. I mean, I know I have some positions here where the players are not, the top 10 or best in the league, but starting with Bailey, Baum, Horner, Ursula, if he can perform, we've just got some good rated players here, and I just think, I don't know if it's maybe getting off to the bad start last year, but I think our offense really, even though we finished low in a lot of those stack rankings, I really think we're better than what we showed. I'm just hoping this is the year that we turn it around. Bailey already, this guy, gave up Joey Bart to move him up. He's looked really good. He's a good defender, got good power and eye. Again, I think, last year I don't think is an indicator of what he can do offensively. Baum had an off year last year. Tucker in the lineup, Ursula in the lineup, and some of these other guys developing a little bit more. I'm hoping he turns it around. He's still a good defensive first baseman. Horner, I really like this pickup. Got him for Devers. I know it maybe seems upside down, but we really responded when he came over. I mean, he was with us for 93 games, 90 starts. We won with him in the lineup. He leads off in the lineup now. Good speed. He doesn't strike out a lot. I just think he's, good defender at second now. I played him at third, but with the pickup of Ursula, I can move him to second. I really like him in the lineup. Ursula, like I said, Adamez, good defensively. Definitely an improvement over Simmons offensively. And then we get to the outfield. There's a lot of jumbled up players here. I don't know if Bishop is going to stick. I mean, I would like to see him because he can play all three outfield positions. He has good speed, power, but outside of that brief call-up last year, I haven't seen much from him. This year might be the year that he proves he can at least make the lineup. And then you got Tucker. Miyazaki, he's not the player he was when he came into the league, and he's definitely going to get some platoon time. He's really just, even though his stats may not show it, he's a risk playing against left-handed pitchers, but still good defensively, good speed. I think McKenna is going to get most of the backup time, but I'm also looking at Derek Mitchell, one of my draft picks, high draft pick, second round in 2023. I'm moving him up quick. He played at high A last year. My intention was to let him go in AAA this year. I like his defense and speed, power. Don't think he's ready, but he's right now at 3-star potential. I think eventually, he could settle into a starting role if he plays up to his ratings. But I think it's a good mix. I really do. And if this isn't the year that gets us in playoff contention, then I don't know if it's going to happen with this team. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start simming through the spring and see what we're going to do. I think it's going to be one of those springs where I'm going to have a lot of decisions I'm going to have to make, I know. So right away we've got an injury to Arteaga, just a minimum one for 3 days. Taking a look at the news because we're still early and we're probably going to see some signings here. Aaron Judge still with the Yankees. He's going to be injured for a while. Chris Bubic, however you say that, he signed with Philadelphia after a pretty decent season last year. Cabrera, who is this? Genesis Cabrera, gone for St. Louis for the year. And trade, not a very big one there. So I usually get in about 2 or 3 weeks into the spring before I take a look at the numbers. Will Smith injured again. Now this is a moderate injury. You know, it's a gamble to have him out there. I know. He's day to day. If I put him on the injured list, it's for 15 days. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that because I would like to. I know he's coming to the tail end of his career, but he's still valuable, I think, as a specialist against lefties. I don't want to lose him. So let's hope he'll be back before spring's over and he can get some more playing time. So we're not off to a great start. I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to the win-loss records in the spring. So far, you know, we're kind of being lucky on injuries. Here's another one for Deval, who is not going to make the final roster. I don't know what to think about this guy. He came up in a call-up in 2023 and looked great. He's a right-handed power pitcher, sidearm, but that control is just too much of a liability. I was hoping that he would develop a little bit this spring, but I'm not seeing it. So looking at the news, Pittsburgh, good young pitcher here, he's going to be gone for a few months. Chad Green out for St. Louis. Alex Bregman, is that a big injury? 5 weeks. Gleyber Torres out for 6 weeks. So they've had a tough start. And Suarez was another one that I was kind of looking up as a like a second choice, or well, maybe third, fourth, or fifth choice at third base, because you know his defense is good, his power's good. I'm glad I didn't have to make that call. He wound up going to Milwaukee for $9 million. So if you look at summary by team now, we're still up there. Nobody's really gaining much. I know there's probably still some free agents available. Romuto's still out there. Abreu, Bogart's another guy I looked at as a potential at short. And then pitching, Chapman. There's always a few closers left hanging out there. Karinchak, Munoz. So some good closer potential there, but again, I'm hoping that we can stick with who we got. In terms of the record, though, we are 3-7, not too good. I want to give it one more week, and then I'll start looking at the individual numbers. So we just finished up beating the Dodgers, but we're still 5-10. Romuto winds up signing with the Twins. 7.9. I mean, he's still one of the best, if not the best, defensively rated catchers in the league. Bogarts went with the Phillies for 5.6. And Abreu goes back to the White Sox. Shane Bieber out at Cleveland. He's still, you know, it may be the highest paid pitcher right now. He's probably ranked top, not close to the tops. So we're 5-10. If I look at this pitching stats so far, Ratings, I don't see anything out of whack here, though it does look like my scout thinks Westbrook's has gotten a little bit better. Let's look at the stats, though. See if anything's really alarming or looking really good. So, Abram, boy, he struggled. He's only got 2 starts, just 2 1/3 innings, so he's been hit hard. Barrios, Corbin Martin, they've looked good. Santos has looked good. Westbrook's, he's going to be in that starting rotation. I'll probably put him mid-rotation where he's at. He's 4th right now. I'll probably keep him there just to give him some cushion. Elledge has looked good. That's good to see because I really think he's valuable to this team as a setup guy. Gonsolin, Rodriguez, man, the bullpen has looked really good. Swiney, who he's also another lefty, but he's looked really good. Lang, 11 Ks in 8 innings. I like that. 4 saves. One of the things, too, that I'm finding with this, in other playthroughs and other parks like Phillies, who are my favorite team, I like playing them every version of out of the park baseball. You have to really worry about movement because, especially in a park like the Phillies, you're going to see a lot of home runs from someone who's got a low movement. That's not really translating with this Giants team, thankfully. So Swiney may actually stick based on what he's looked like in the spring. He may stick in that not rotation, but in the bullpen. On the batting side, Bailey is injured too. I didn't realize that for a couple days. He's having a great spring. Bohm, not too bad. Horner, he's struggling a little bit. Ursula, Adames, hitting about what I would expect. Arteaga's really looking better offensively right now, but that's that's about evened up. I mean, they're getting about the same amount of time. On the outfield side, Bishop, he's hitting 217, 9 Ks, just 1 walk. Tucker, 229. Mitchell has looked pretty good. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, leading the team in home runs and RBIs in the spring. Ramos looked pretty good. Miyazaki's struggling, hitting 062. So he's hopefully not going to be that way. But you can see he's already lost some contact rating. So his average is going to be even poorer this year. He's going to be probably sit down against left-handed pitchers for sure. So now let's see if we can turn it around. Will Smith back eligible. Now I think what I had him doing was starting out as a specialist and then doing setup on the back end. No big injuries so far that I'm seeing. And there it went as soon as I opened my mouth. Frisbee, who is, I don't know if I saw what he was doing in the spring. Let's see. Yeah, he was looking really good. He's valuable. I mean, last year wasn't that great. 2 years ago, he was one of the best bullpen arms we had. So I'm hoping this doesn't limit him too much. He'll be back maybe before the end of April. And we can't win. We're 7-13, 7-14. So we're gonna have a losing spring. Chapman goes to the Phillies, man. The Phillies are putting some money out there, and we've got a low-rated amateur. So we're at the last week of spring, and we are our worst record in the West, one of the worst records in baseball. But, I'm not too worried about it so far. San Diego has the best record in the West. Let's just finish it up, and then we'll take a look at the numbers. We're not going to finish strong either. We wind up beating Philly to end, but just 10 wins, 10-18. Padres 18-10. We did have an injury here for, well, hey, Chris Bryant is out. Well, he's back healthy, but he's fragile now. Yang, he may not have a place. I mean, I picked him up last year because I liked his versatility, and defense in the outfield, corner outfield. Anyway, his ratings show that he should be a pretty good contact hitter, but he hasn't really shown too much. So now, take a look at the numbers and see how these guys did. So, with a 26-man roster, I typically go 13 and 13, 13 pitchers, 13 position players. Abram, for what it's worth, man, he had a rocky spring, but he's still, he's got to be one of the best pitchers ratings-wise still in the league. He's going to be the #1 starter. Barrios, Martin, Schmidt, Westbrooks, Santos really got hit around the tail end of the spring, so that kind of settles it for me. He's going to be either in the bullpen or long relief or something. So Duvall, yeah, I like his numbers in the spring, but I just can't trust that guy's control rating. So I know he's going to go down. He may have to go through clear waivers. Wyatt Olds, coming up from Richmond, 2 stars right now. He needs some more seasoning. I just brought him up to have a look. Colton Hawk, he struggled. His ratings are where they, I think he should be pretty good. But I think it's Schmidt or Hawk right here. Those 2 guys, I'm just not 100% sure who should stay up. I think it's probably between the 2 of them. It's going to be Hawk. And then Vargas, who did not look that great. In limited call-ups 2 seasons here, he has really been hit hard in the majors, and it's more than likely because he can't pitch to right-handed batters. I don't know if I have his batting splits. Yeah, I mean, righties in spring are hitting 364 against him. Lefties are hitting 400. Don't know what I can do with him, but that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I got to get 2 guys are going to have to go down. And I know Vargas is going to be one of them. I'm starting to think he may not have a future in the majors at this point. But now, who's left? I mean, Will Smith, his ratings are taking a dive. This is his last year. I'm probably going to ride him out a little while longer. I like the 4 above average pitches. I like what he's done for us, but yeah, I really want to keep Swiney as well. He's another lefty who I would probably use equal against lefties and righties. So who's going to be? Is it Colton Hawk, who did not look that great, but has the ratings to show that I think he can pitch in the majors? Will Smith is actually the lowest rated pitcher on the staff. Now Santos, if I took a look at him as a reliever, he's a 3-star reliever. I just really like this guy staying on here. So, I mean, if I go by ratings, it's got to be Smith. At this point, I don't know if his lefty split is enough to save him. Now, how did he do again in the spring? Not that great, in limited time, and he was injured. I mean, I know Hawk's numbers don't look that great, but I think he's got the ratings that are going to translate if you give him a full year. I'm gonna see if I put and I know Smith's probably popular, but I'm going to see if I waive him, if anybody picks him up, and then may have to deal with him after the season starts. So that leaves me with Swiney, I think, being the middle relief guy, Santos, long, and emergency starter. And Hawk, I'll probably keep him as a setup guy. My scout thinks he should be a setup guy. And Rodriguez looks like he's better suited in middle relief. He'd like to be a starter. And honestly, I haven't looked at his ratings as a starter in a while. He's a 3-star pitcher as a starting pitcher. Was really good OSA ratings as well. So he's an option if Schmidt or really anybody starts looking bad at that lower part of the rotation. But that's going to be that set on the pitching side. Now we got to whittle down a few guys on the offense. Catching, it's going to be Trump again, I think, and backing up Bailey. I'm going to send Thomas down to Sacramento. Connor Cannon, I love this guy's power and walks. I mean, if this would translate into the majors, he would be a great guy to have off the bat or off the bench. But I just don't think he's good enough right now. But let me take a look at what else we got. Wilson, don't think I need him. He's got poor personality. He may have, no, I'm not going to waive him, but he may have to go on waivers. Yeah. He's out of option years. Oh, did it again, sorry. So I'm going to waive him. Arteaga, boy, he looked good. Filling in. He's still a bench player. He needs time, I think. Now he needs time, really, at second, third. Tyler Fitzgerald looked good in the spring. He's got some chance there to hang on. He's good, decent defender at second and short. Mooney, he's another guy with some potential at shortstop. He was a former first-round pick. This is the first look I've had from him in the spring, so I'm going to move him down to Sacramento. Pay attention to how he does down there. Hunter Bishop, if you look at Matos and Uyang, I mean, they have better springs. McKenna struggled. Mitchell, he's not ready, and I don't want to put him on the bench right now, so I'm going to call him down to Sacramento. I did like the power he showed, but I think McKenna's going to stay even though his spring was poor. I love his defense and speed. Ramos didn't know he was injured. His spring was pretty decent, honestly. 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, led us in RBIs, it looks like. I still think Hunter Bishop's got to go down, and he's out of options. I may see what shopping him around brings me. I mean, at this point, maybe a decent backup infielder, somebody who can play multiple positions there would be good. I mean, looks like there's some pretty decent relievers still out there. Somebody would be willing to give up. Tyler Glasnow, who's fragile. I mean, I don't necessarily want to lose him completely. Jonathan India. His ratings aren't that great in this game right now. Jordan Brewer. I mean, there's some pretty decent interest here for him. kind of makes me wonder if I hold on to him, and need some help later on in the season, if he would be one of the guys I can trade. Drew Rasmussen, I don't like his overall ratings, but I may just take a chance on. Wow, there's some pretty decent offers here. Here's a great looking prospect from the Cardinals. Now, he has 3 option years left. He's not necessarily a power pitcher. I don't know how that'll translate in San Francisco. Nate Pearson. Wow. I almost hate when you get these kind of offers, because it's almost too overwhelming. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of value right now. Kyle Lewis at center field. Now, I don't want to sit here and spend too much time on it. Let me see who else we've got to move down. I know Matos is just, he's just not versatile enough. I'm going to call him down to Sacramento. He may be out of option years. Nope. So that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Cannon. I'm gonna call him down. He just looked too bad in the spring. So that leaves. I think I might try to keep Fitzgerald up to have in that middle infield. So it's probably going to go down to Bishop and Ouyang. Even though Ouyang's numbers look better in the spring, and overall I think he is a better. He's more versatile. He might even could get some starts at multiple positions, really, if I have some injuries. Let me go ahead and sim to opening day for a couple reasons. One, I'm going to see what the development update looks like. Swiney improved. Smith didn't, so it may be that Smith is at the end of his career. Santos went down too, but Hawk improved. Ursula, unfortunately, took a dive in some of his ratings, and I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to what he did in the spring. 211. Ooh, he struggled for sure. Arteaga took a dip. Miyazaki, Jared Thomas. Now, the last thing I'll look at, and a couple last things I'll look at before I close out the episode. And first thing would be that waiver wire. It's always crazy. On opening day, there may be some guys, although, I feel pretty good about the starting rotation and the bullpen. But I don't know. I don't like to give up on somebody who just looks really good. So expectations from the owner. He wants us to play us 500. I'm hoping that we can do that. Top minor league systems. We are really poor in that department. 28th. We've got Burnett, starting pitcher, and Edelman. So, man, the minors have really been hard to develop in this playthrough as well. Karinchak winds up going to Philadelphia. Man, with the signings they made in the spring here, they may have moved up. Well, the offseason center's over, but man, they may have moved up quite a bit in that department. So if I look at the waiver wire, and I'll look at pitchers first, not a whole lot. A lot of 3 stars that, probably won't be much of a benefit over who I've got already. So I'm not going to get much there. I mean, unless I go back to that Hunter Bishop trade, I'm not going to pick up anybody's going to help us out here too much. And then on the batter side, again, I think I would be looking for, somebody who's going to be versatile on the infield and give us a good bat off the bench. Daniel Cabrera here, might be okay, but I think we probably got somebody who would do just as well. And I don't really see, anything on the infield side that's making me want to pick him up. So now I'll take a look at this preseason predictions. So we take a look first off in the American League. You got the Yankees and Toronto neck and neck. Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota, pretty competitive Central. And then Seattle and the Angels here in the West. Individually, you got Mike Trout still hanging in there. He had some injury problems last year. Still a 5 wins above average player with those injuries. Guerrero Jr., Verdugo, the Robert. Those guys are settling in here in this playthrough to solid players. On the pitching side, Pearson, who was offered in trade for, can't believe they would do that, but yeah, they offered him in trade for Hunter Bishop. I think it's mainly because of that $21 million coming up. Hancock, Rodriguez, Eduardo Rodriguez, who was also offered in trade, expected to have a decent year. And then the National League, wow, even with all those pickups, they're saying the Phillies are going to finish last in the East. We got Atlanta and the Mets tied, Nationals, Miami, 4 teams above 500 there. Pittsburgh in a pretty weak Central, expected to win. And then the West, man, they're expecting it to be tight with San Diego, Arizona, and San Francisco. So we're expected, you have to say that loosely, I guess, to pick up 85 wins, which would not be enough to make the playoffs in this scenario. And then individually, nobody shows up. Just at a quick glance, no players show up in the top hitters or pitchers. I don't really expect anything different. Acuna Jr., though, they're expecting him to have an off year for him. Just 296 average, 41 home runs. We've got the Dodgers with a lot of good offensive players here, but they're predicted to finish at 500. So looks like the pitching's not there for them. And then in pitching, Syndergaard with the Mets is expected to have one of the best years in the league. Flaherty with St. Louis, he wound up going back to St. Louis in free agency, $25 million. I think they got him pretty, quite a bit less than what he was asking for. Nichols, Rogers, Glasnow. I wish we would have somebody show up here, but I'm not too worried about that. And really, I'm not too worried about the spring we had. I do think this is close to what we're capable of. If we just get some good luck, I guess, stay away from injuries. But I'm really going to have to right now figure out what to do with that final. No, I don't. I forgot. That's one of those. That's one of those things that happen in this league. I've got the dynamic league setting turned on. I really like having that, honestly. That every once in a while you'll have some things change in the rules. So one of the things they changed, the active roster improved to 27. So I'll live with it. So I don't have to make any kind of moves with Bishop right now. And I may start with this guy in the majors coming off the bench. But now I'm going to go ahead and offline get the final lineup set. And I'll come back and we'll sim through the first month or so of the season, see how we start. I do think we're definitely in a better spot than we were last year, but I just hope it translates. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching, subscribing, liking, commenting. I'm feeling like this may be it. If I can't turn it around this year, it may be time to move on. But, we'll see. I think this could be a decent year, all things considered. And this year, too, if we're off to a better start, I think I've got some pieces, even though our minor league system is rated low. I think there's some trade opportunities here, too, to improve the team even further as we get to the trading deadline. But we'll see what happens next episode. Thanks for watching.